Okay, guys, I want to have you bear with me. I want to see whether or not when I change things here, uh, yeah, see, I disappear, and I don't know. Loom keeps messing with their service or their application, and from one day to the next, you never know what you're going to get. And so now they've got it so that you don't I disappear when I go to some other part on the, I don't know. I mean, let me try this here. Let me see this. You see that? Well, no, but I'm shrunk. It's just, this is the thing with, oh, these guys. It's just, they're worse than Apple. Every time Apple comes out with a new version, they change all these things. And it's just, oh, God. Why can't they leave it alone? I don't know. So anyway, you guys, this is the tipping point. I've been looking at your stuff for over however long you've been doing this. I don't know if it's been a year or not, but any case, I've been keeping tabs on what you guys are up to, and I have to say that it's definitely worth doing something like you're doing. But the problem here is that you guys are getting into an arena that is, you don't, you're in over your head. That's about all I can say. Uh, and it has to do with two things. One is the crypto. Anybody that's talking about crypto and you go into the things you say here, you don't know enough about money. I mean, it's just that simple. And I'm going to tell a couple stories that are going to be examples of how it is that you don't know enough about money. But we'll get to that. In the meantime, I'm just going to point to the fact that you're stepping into the deep end of the pool here, and this is just like this thing with privacy. There's another thing I want to get thing. Let me get that up. If you don't know about this here, let me see. Making me MY. There it is. If you don't know enough about this, you don't know. See here. This is again the thing. Here's the problem. I should be on this screen, but I'm not. And why not? I don't know. This is the thing. See, here I'm okay on this one. It used to be on Loom that you would be on every one, no matter which one you changed. Like if I go to this one here and see, I'm on this one, but I'm not on this one. Well, wait a minute. See, I didn't wait long enough. Oh, I'll tell you. So anyway, guys, that's what I'm getting at. And see, I've disappeared now off of so now I'm on here. But this is, if you want to know about privacy and what's happened and all that stuff, this is the place to go. This is the only place that you can use to send private messages, and that's it. And they have this whole thing about all of the history of Michael McKibben, and yeah, you need to know this. You need to know what happened to him, and otherwise, you're talking about privacy. You're just a babe in the woods. So anyway, let's see if I ever come back to here. I mean, the way things are going with Loom, these guys, I don't know why they keep messing with it. So anyway, that's privacy. Now we're talking about the money thing. And yeah, as far as the money thing goes, how would you put it? Let me see. Why can't I get there it is. Ah, yeah. I'm sorry that I have to learn how to work with the new loom in your video, but it's so disgusting. But nonetheless, gosh, as far as the money thing is concerned, what can I tell you? Uh, I think the story about, if you really want to know what the deal is with the money on the macro scale or the macro uh, level, you have to know about a guy named Ezra Pound. And that's the starting point. For most Americans, if you're an American and you don't know about Ezra Pound, uh, you're not much of an American. It just simply means you have very little or no culture. He's America's greatest poet, according to a number of people. I mean, E.E. Cummings owes Ezra Pound. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature, and he says if it wasn't for Ezra Pound, he wouldn't have been able to get it. So here's a Nobel level laureate type guy, and what is he doing? Well, he's an American, but he's living in Europe, and this is the 1930s, and he's living in Europe because the guy is cultured. And unfortunately, there isn't a whole lot of culture in America. I mean, it's, I was trying to marry this lady, and she didn't want to live in America. She's living in Europe now. She's a citizen in Switzerland. And for the very same reason that Ezra Pound left in 1930 something, she left in 1980, I think it was. So that's what we're up against. We have a very low level of culture in America. And so Ezra Pound goes over there, and he's living in Great Britain and Germany and France and Switzerland. And he eventually ends up in Italy. And it's, and I don't know whether he came over to America. About 1937, 38, he noticed this problem with the financial system. And so he's going, geez, I got to go back and talk to the guys, to my friends and everything in America, and see if I can get them up to speed, because we got this problem, you see. And so that's what he did. He went back before 1940, and they wouldn't talk to him. They wouldn't listen to him. They dismissed him out of hand, probably even laughed at him. I mean, he's a poet. What does he know about finance? What does he know about banking? What does he know about economics? You're a dumb American, Ezra Pound. You got a little culture, but you're still a dumb American. And that's what the Americans are telling you see. And so he goes back to Italy, and he's still going, Jesus, that we've got this real problem. And so he's such a good American. He's going to warn the American people. And what's he going to do? He's living in Rome, Italy. And he gets on the shortwave radio. And it's kind of like the Good Morning Vietnam. He gets on there and says, "Hello, America. This is Ezra Pound speaking. And I want to tell you that your enemy is not the Germans. Your enemy is not the Japanese. Your enemy is not the Soviets. Your enemy is not the Jews. Your enemy isn't the Africans. Your enemy isn't any of those things. Your enemy is free capital. You would be better off to have Bright's disease, a bad cold, cancer, COVID-19, Ebola, and on and on and on. You would be better off to have these than to have free capital. Well, I have to tell you that he was just talking to the air. Because how many Americans have a shortwave radio? How many Americans listen to a shortwave radio? I don't know. I mean, he was trying to do something for the good of America, but I don't know. He really needed to find a different way. And in a lot of ways, you guys are in a similar boat. But at least Ezra knew what he was talking about. You guys, that's a different story. You need to know about Ezra, you see, because he's telling everybody about the free capital. Well, there were somebody out there who was listening, and they said, holy shit, we got to shut this guy up, because that's the last thing that they want the American people to know is what the fuck is free capital? We don't even want them to ask the question, let alone know the answer. You know, I mean, this is like, So the first thing they had to do was to get President Roosevelt to write a warrant for Pound's arrest. I mean, he's in Italy, he's in Rome, Italy, he's in enemy territory, and they're writing a warrant for his arrest. Well, of course, eventually they invade Italy, and they go in there, and of course they find Pound. And so they put him in a prisoner of war. He makes him a prisoner of war, and put him in a POW camp. And I saw a play years ago, and it was about Pound's time in a prisoner of war camp. And at that time, I wasn't completely, I didn't know the whole story, so I didn't take notes sufficient for the whole, to be able to tell everything just exactly so. But he wasn't supposed to make it through the prisoner of war camp. He was supposed to meet his demise beforehand, and but he didn't. And that was basically the theme of the play, was that he managed to make it. But they didn't tell you anything about what Pound did. They didn't say shit about free capital. And this was the basis for why Pound was in the POW camp, was because of what he said about free capital. And so this is how bad Americans are missing the boat. They just do not get the punchline. And you guys are the same. You're Americans. Oh, true. And so, anyway, they get him into Washington, D.C., and he's under arrest. And the problem is they cannot let Ezra Pound leave Washington, D.C. This is the problem for them, because the federal jurisdiction is only in Washington, D.C. They do not have jurisdiction in Virginia or in Maryland or any of the bordering Pennsylvania. No. So they cannot let Ezra Pound out of Washington, D.C. Otherwise, they lose jurisdiction, and he's free to go. And this is not possible because they're going, we do not want people asking these questions, let alone entertaining answers. So they managed to pull together enough doctors who were able to analyze Ezra Pound and say, this guy is mentally unstable. So we got to put him in a mental institution. And that's what they did. Put him in a mental institution there at St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Washington, D.C. And they kept him there for 13 years. So you guys should probably make a note of that, because this will, when you start talking about things that count, you're looking at spending 13 years in a mental institution at the expense of the federal government. because that's what they do and that's what they can do. So you're walking the line, guys. Yeah. So anyway, he was there and he told them what he wanted and said, look, if you guys do this and this, I'll be out of your hair. And they said no, and they kept him there for 13 years, and finally they recanted and gave him what he wanted, and he let him go. And I think that one of the things that he agreed to was that he wouldn't talk about free capital anymore. I can't. I mean, I'm just guessing, as far as it goes, but that seems to me that would be part of it, because he knew full well what they didn't want him to talk about. I mean, they didn't even want to bring him into prison. I mean, what to call that? They didn't want to take him to task for treason, because they're going to say, well, why did you make these broadcasts? Oh, well, I wanted to tell Americans about free capital. Oh, Jesus. Well, could you please tell the court just what is free capital? And this is, no, they could not have this. They could not have this. And so that's why they kept him locked up in St. Elizabeth's. And of course, this was the thing that, the rest of the story is that eventually he met another fellow, Eustace Mullins, who was the one who wrote the book Secrets of the Federal Reserve, at Ezra Hound's behest. But because he was trying to figure out what was it. He stepped in a pile of doo-doo here, and he wanted to find out just what kind of doo-doo it was that he stepped in. And that's why I had Eustace Mullins spend all these years trying to figure out what the heck did he do. And so, yeah, that's the story on this as far as the money is concerned. I should say, well, maybe, we did the privacy, we did the money, but then there's the other thing, is just the general American incapacity to read the signs. It's like you're being on a safari, and you're walking down the trail and you see this big steaming pile of shit, and the leader, the safari, what do you call him, the guy that's the head of the safari or whoever, the scout, they look at this and they go, oh my God, because they know right away this is lion shit and it's fresh. So the first thing that you want to do when you see fresh lion shit is you reach in your pocket and find out how many bullets you have. And hopefully you're carrying your gun. And this is the thing that people are missing out. They don't see the signs. They don't see that this is lion shit and it's fresh, you see. And so they become lunch, lion's lunch. And of course, even if they had their gun and they had their bullets, they might still be lion's lunch. That's what you're up against here. And what I'm getting at is that as far as the Americans are concerned, and as far as signs are concerned, we have every convenience store you go to, 7-Eleven, Minute Mart, Stewart Shops, wherever you're going, man, you go in there and you see this, there's a saucer or an ashtray or whatever, and it's got pennies in it. Well, that was 10, 15 years ago. Today, you're going to see nickels and dimes and quarters. See, this is hot lion shit. You should be checking your pockets to see if you've got any fucking bullets. That's what that means when you see this. And do Americans see it? And they wonder why they're being eaten for lunch. You see, all the whining and bawling that's going on, and it's because they're so freaking ignorant. They don't know. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to do it. They don't know what's happening. Because when your penny is not worth keeping in your pocket, somebody has screwed up. Now, this somebody happens to be, who is it that's responsible for making sure that your money is worth carrying around? Is it Bob? Alice? Sally? No. Today we have Donald Duck and his crew. Technically, these guys are supposed to be making sure that a penny is worth keeping in your pocket. And we've already established just how good of a job they've been doing. And the thing is that when you look at this, this is the king. This is the hooray, hooray, the king is dead, long live the king. We need a new fucking king. We need somebody that knows how to make sure your money is worth keeping in your pocket. Which is to say, we need a new government. You see, oops, here again, I'm going to lose my screen. And that's what we need today, is a new government, or at least somebody that knows how to make money worth keeping in your pocket. And so the question then becomes one of competence. If you don't know anything about money and how it's supposed to work, you're incompetent. How many people are incompetent? Well, that's just right here. This is what you can see here. You can watch these videos about Catherine and, what's her name? Fitz, I think it is. These two videos, they're not actually about her. These videos aren't about her. Because, I'm the one that's doing the talking in these videos, and I'm talking about Catherine, and I'm saying about the same thing about Catherine that I'm saying about you guys. Whose side are you really on? Well, I think you guys are on the right side. Catherine, I'm not so sure about. And if you watch the videos, you'll understand why. And it'll give you more of an insight as to what it is you need to know about money. Because she's supposed to be an expert about money, and I don't think she knows much more about it than you guys do. So, what else can I say? I'm not, reached what is it? I've talked about the skiff, I've talked about Anders, so I think I'll put the thing about the YouTube. I'm gonna, when you get this thing, there's going to be a link that you can go, and I'm going to have that go to Axie Services, so you can see the things I have to say about Catherine. So this is the thing, and if so, that we just mentioned about their incompetence. The other side of the coin is complicity. You see, if your money isn't worth keeping in your pocket, and these guys aren't that stupid to know they're not incompetent, then they go to the other side of the coin and they're complicit. They do know how it works. They knew why it works. And they know they want to keep in control, and they want to keep you under their thumb. And so that's what they're doing. And that's what they've been doing. And that's what they're going to continue to do unless you shut these fuckers down. And it's up to you guys. You see, I'm an old fart. I'm almost 80 years old. You guys are still young enough to where you might be able to do something. But I'm on my way out of here, man. And so I'm hoping that you're going to pay enough attention to what I've just told you and do something about it. And stop. Don't completely stop what you're doing here, but you need to take it to the next level and then the level after that. And really knock this baby out of the ballpark, because it's the key to the whole thing. It's all about the money. And I've got other presentations I've made, and I don't know. I'm just like you. I haven't I haven't been able to get people to watch me or talk to me or anything, and so I'm almost giving up on that. You know, I'm on the way out anyway, so it doesn't really matter in that regard. But you guys have got something to work with, and you need to do it. So I'm gonna cut it loose and call it quits for now, and hopefully maybe we'll talk, maybe not. But have a good day.